Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here, playing some more Faeria. And in this video, we're going to go ahead and do a full Pandora run. It will be my first. I have 2 coins, one because you get one for free when you make an account, and one because I actually managed to beat the practice mode 3 times, each time getting a third of a Pandora coin. So let's go ahead and do it. We're obviously going to play multiplayer, not single player. And you can see actually up front which colors will be available to you. So here I'll have blue, green, and red, which means that yellow will be the only color missing, and I'm fine with that. As I mentioned in the last video, yellow is my least favorite color. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's my least favorite. So we have some interesting options here. Wild Growth is a good card because you only need to invest 1 forest in order to play it. And then you get a leg up on advanced lands. As we saw in the practice run that I did, it is nice to have a lot of advanced lands because there are several cards that are pretty good that require you to have a whole bunch of them to be effective. So it's an tempting card. However, we have some pretty good creatures here. So here we got a good green guy. It does require 3 forests, so if I don't end up playing green, this will be a dead card. But it is a 5/6 with Taunt for 5, which is incredibly good stats. And then we have the King's Guard, which is an extra mana and 2 less power, also with Taunt. But the advantage is that he draws a card whenever he fights. I'm actually going to grab him. I'm a pretty big fan of this guy. It's good at taking out, smaller creatures, and it gives you some extra cards, plus the Taunt has some good utility, and it keeps me a little bit flexible. Okay, so here we have some interesting options. I'd say it's going to have to be between these 2 cards, so I can either go into red or go into blue. I do prefer blue over red, but this is like a utility card, so it's not like necessarily strengthening your desire to play blue necessarily. It's just 2 free mana if you can get up to 10, and if you can cheapen the cost of the card, you can improve the benefit further. Whereas this is actually like a pretty decent guy. You get 2 mana every time you fight, and it's a 3/5 for 5, which is solid. So it's tough. I do like red, blue, and green, so I'm pretty happy to play any of them. And this is a little bit more obviously useful, so I'm going to go ahead and grab him over the Windfall. Okay, we got ourselves a, whatever, legendary, I think. There's some pretty good stuff here. I'm going to have to take a moment to process all this. So this guy, just when he comes into play, deals 3 damage to all enemies. He also flies and has charge 2, meaning he can move 2 spaces. But a 6/6 for 10 stat-wise isn't that great. It's really just all about the gift in this case. This guy we actually saw, and it's an incredibly good creature. The problem is if I take it, I'm definitely going to be playing green, like 100%. So even if there aren't good green cards coming up later, I'm just going to have to go green or go home. This guy is so good. So or it's actually a lady apparently. So when you play this, she can move 2 spaces, and each time she dies, she goes back into your hand and gets +2/+2. So your opponent can never get rid of this forever. And even after 1 iteration, it's a 6/6 for 5. It's just so good. Let's take a look at anything else here, see if I can be convinced otherwise. We got a 20 mana creature here. Reduce Radiance's Faeria cost equals your life total, and then gift gain 1 life for each card in your hand. Oh my god, that is really interesting. So the more that you get hit, the cheaper that thing becomes. And you get some life back. It moves 3 spaces in a straight line after being summoned, and it's a neutral creature, so it'll go in any deck. Man, that's a pretty strong card. This is interesting. It draws a card when it fights, and the card is free, but it's a 10/8. It's a 10 mana 4/8. This is transform all your other creatures into creatures that cost 2 more. Oh, hey, it's like Evolve Shaman. It requires you to have some creatures on the board, though. Okay, so I think it's going to be one of these 3. It's a tough one. I've already got red, so I'm inclined to take red. The problem is that a lot of times dealing 3 damage to the enemy creatures doesn't do enough, and then it's just a 6/6 for 10. This thing I like because it has healing, and it can help you come back when you're behind. A 10/10 is a really big thing, though, especially like if you pay, let's say, 10 mana because you're at half life. Nah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do this. This thing is too good. It's cheap. I'll just play green and red and call it a day. Okay, so we got some options here. I can go blue, although these are not particularly great blue cards. This thing is actually fun, and it has 1v games to move away a taunt, for instance, sometimes, but I don't need to go into blue just for that. This thing is interesting. It gives you a Campfire, which is a +1, which is a card that gives a creature +1/+1, which is fine. This thing 3 times can give your creatures +1/+1, and you can play it in advance. And this thing is removal, although it's only 2 damage. Thing is, it's only 2 damage, but a lot of times if your opponent plays a superior creature and kills one of your inferior ones, it is actually pretty good to just be able to polish it off. But I'm going to grab this. I'm a little bit more heavily in green than red at the moment, And giving creatures +1/+1 might stop the need to have to burn something out in the first place. All right, I do like this card a lot. So it's expensive, but it reduces the cost of a card in your hand by 7. Of course, the problem is that if it reduces the cost of a card that's already cheap, then you lose a lot of the value of this Bold Bargainer. The thing is, though, that this game really encourages you to take expensive cards, so you're likely to have cards that only cost like 5, 6, or 7, in which case it's pretty darn solid. I'm going to grab it. The other stuff is really just not that good. I mean, gaining 6 life can be really good, but, and so can moving a creature, extra squares. But I'm going to grab this. I like going for that kind of strategy and taking expensive cards. All right, we've got a Frog Tosser here. Unfortunately, this requires lakes. All right, you fight an enemy, make a frog. Yeah, whatever. This is just an interesting one. You get a random green creature and it has +6/+6 bigger. I don't really think anything is really calling out to me. This is fine, but I think this is stronger overall, so we're going to grab that. All right, we can do a 3/6 taunt that gives you a mana when it fights. Is there anything else better here? Taunt -2, gain 1 life for each time you've been dealt damage. Meh. This thing is interesting, so you can park it next to one of your wells, and then as the game goes along, you keep killing enemy creatures, this thing can get out of control. So first it becomes a 3/3, and then by the time it becomes a 5/4, it starts to get kind of crazy. But I'm actually going to grab the Queen's Guard for a little bit more taunt and some mana. I know I'm passing on some healing with this, but I just... And then also the dash is important for a taunt creature because you can play it and get into position. But I like getting extra mana, and since I do have this Bold Bargainer, I think I'm going to go for like a high mana strategy. All right, this guy I'm really not impressed with. This should really have taunt. This thing, I don't know if I want to take another one. I could take a Tiki Healer, which I passed on the first time, to get some life. The problem is the stats are just so bad. We can take an Elder just to have a cheap early creature to put next to a well. Now let's go for these Bold Bargainers. Let's try it. Let's go for that strategy. So there's another thing that reduces the cost of the cards in your hand. However, I think maybe I do like the Ancient Beastmaster. It's just a really solid card to park next to a well, and then all of your creatures with 5 life or more, which I have a few, by which I mean one of. Get +1/+1 when summoned. I'm gonna grab this though. Removal is strong. I think it's just good to take removal because they're so rare. It's so rare in this game. All right, this guy I like a lot. He works well with my Bold Bargainers. It's a 7/7 ranged. And on top of that, it gets cheaper as the game goes along. So I'm definitely going to grab this. 7/7 range is pretty strong. It's time for our first treasure card. Remember, these do not go into your deck. They only start appearing once 5 shards have been found. So, here, I'm not actually a big fan of either of these, because this thing is just a vanilla creature. It doesn't really help you come back into the game very much. This thing I don't like because the best treasure cards are the ones that either destroy a creature or take control of a creature, and this thing plays right into that. So you play this, you buff it up, and then your opponent kills it. So I'm going to just grab this just for 2 free mana and 2 cards and hope my next treasure cards are better. Okay, got some interesting options here. So this thing is kind of interesting. When you play it, you basically can either heal up one of your creatures or undo any buffing that's been done by your opponent's creatures. This thing is interesting as well. You can 3 times deal 1 damage to enemy creatures, so that's like a little bit of damage there. And then this guy is fine. He draws a card. I do like he works well with the Bold Bargainers. It's not like a combat trick the way that this is, but I think I am going to just... You know what? Let me try this. I've not played with this before. Let's just try it, see how it goes. All right, last word. A random friendly creature gains +3/+5. Of course, the risk with this always is the same, which is that if your opponent can kill off all of your other creatures and then this, then you don't really get a whole lot of value out of it. The Red Devil is interesting. So it's basically a 4 mana, 6/4, which is decent. And if you can lower its cost, you actually gain mana from it. It goes well with my Bold Bargainers. I'm going to try this thing out. Choose one, give +2/+2 to a creature. I'm kind of inclined to go for that, although I have to say, there's some really interesting stuff here. Just, let's see, deal 4 damage to an adjacent enemy creature or structure, so this is removal. This can help me get some more land, although since I'm not playing with those lake things, getting extra lands is not as big of a deal. And this thing giving range to a creature can be really interesting. Like if I give range to this, Or I guess it's pretty... Well, really, giving range to anything can be really strong. It's just very expensive, but you're basically paying 7 mana to give a creature ranged, and then, you know, you have a 2/5 body attached to it. Let's go ahead and grab this, though. I like this card a lot. Just giving a creature +2/+2 can make a really big difference. Teleport another friendly creature to a forest you control. That can be interesting. And destroy a friendly creature to gain Faeria equal to its life and draw a card. Huh. So I can play this, for example, and then I can basically... It basically cycles a creature and gives you its mana. Well, not its mana back. It gives you mana back equal to its life. So if its life is higher than its mana cost, you can, like, sort of cheat the system a bit. I don't know. I'm going to try this thing. This is a combat trick. It might be helpful. Give a minion... Alright, did I take this one? I already took one of these. This thing actually wasn't bad last time. I think I'm going to take it. Granted, I don't have as many effects that give me special lands this time, so that is an interesting point against it. Add a random green creature to your hand that costs 2 less. Interesting, so you really want to attack gods with this. This thing is very interesting. So it's a 2 mana 1/1, but it becomes a 2/5 with flying as soon as you draw an event. How many events do I have? I actually don't have that many events. Well, that's an event, that's an event. That's an event, so it's 3 events. And I think this is technically an event, or is it a treasure? I don't know. This actually matches my colors. Is this good? Deal 4 damage, randomly split among enemies. Give +4/+4, randomly split among allies. I don't know how good that is. It's random. You can't really control it. This gives you card advantage, but you have to invest in an understated creature and then attack the god. I'm not sure I'm really excited about any of these cards. I guess we'll try this. I've never played with it, but it has been played against me, and I haven't been that impressed. Okay, here, I'm just going to keep it real simple. We'll take another Firebomb for some more removal. Summon 3/2 angry, or 3/2/2 Angry Axe with haste. That seems pretty bad, because 3/2/2s is sort of weak, even with them having haste. This requires Lakes, although it's a really good creature. 8/8 with protection from 8. It's like Divine Shield. Whenever this creature attacks a god, gain 5 life. I mean, that can be really good in racing situations. This is a 2... Let's say this is a 2/5 for 2. I mean, that's pretty good. You can park it near a well and just wait for it to become good. This is an interesting minion that deals damage over time to the opponent. Let's try this. Fairy Silk Fairy, I guess. Okay, what do we got going on here? Well, this is interesting. So it's a little bit... I like it better than that, like, 2/5 for 5 that has a similar effect. This is just a 1/1. Yeah, I'm going to grab that. That seems good. Alright, we can make a forest here, which I actually like a little more now that I know that I do have that Primeval Colossus, which is going to want lots of special lands. I haven't really been drafting any cards to generate lands. Alright, there we go. There we go. We want this Doom Scythe. So you get a 6/1, and you destroy a creature. This is nifty and all, but I definitely want just a 5 mana kill anything, and get a creature out of it is just gravy. So now we can do another Ogre Dance. I haven't been doing that good of a job taking expensive cards. But if it hits the... I mean, obviously, so you don't want to think about, like, best case scenarios. Like, what are the odds that I just have a handful of really expensive crap? Do I have an Ogre Dance already? I don't. Let's try it. Let's give it a shot. See what happens. Alright, so... This is a good combat trick. I'm a big fan of it. I have passed on several of these healers, so I could regret it, I guess, if I end up needing a lot of healing. Let's take this. Let's go for the buffing route. Gift Create a Mountain. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, actually. Yeah, I could use some more mountains now that I have the Primeval Colossus. Whenever this creature attacks a god, deal 1 damage to all enemy creatures. Very interesting. So you basically just want to put this right in front of your base and just try to shoot the enemy with it. You do need 3 mountains to get it going, though. So your opponent, it'll be a while. It'll be like at least the 3rd turn of the game before you do this, and your opponent will be able to respond to it. I'm not that thrilled about it. Let's take Earthcraft just to get an extra advanced land and a cycle. Alright, we have another option to take Flamethrower. Could take a Royal Judge. I never really got to use it last time. It gives you either a card that grants a creature Divine Shield, which is protection in this game, or Punishment, which deals 2 damage to a creature, or 5 if it's a neutral creature. This is good for the end game to make huge life swings. I'm gonna grab it. Let's try that out. See how well it goes. Okay, so here I'm not actually a fan of any of these. We'll take another one of these guys. And I'm not a super big fan of any of these cards either. 1/7 with taunt is just not that good. Dang, I guess we'll take a 6/5 for 6. Okay, the first creature you summon gets +1/+1. That's a bit slow. Create a special land. Creature summoned this turn get +2/+0. Very interesting. I'm going to take another Colossus. I want more stuff for the Ogre Dance and the Bold Bargainers to hit, and this is a really good card. Restore a creature to its original attack and life. Did I take that before? I did, so I don't want 2 of them. I think that's a bit much. I suppose we'll take another one of these King's Guards. Want expensive cards with a lot of health. And here, this is tempting. This is tempting because it goes with my Bold Bargainers, but I don't want to go too crazy with that necessarily. Making a creature have an extra 4 health and taunt can be really effective. We'll try that. I did want to go for a buffing game. And then here is our final one. Take an extra turn is interesting. I think I'm going to grab this Dark Crystal. So this gives me 2 cards. It deals 3 damage to all enemy creatures, which can help turn the tide. And it also has an 8 health life swing. Plus it, can finish the opponent off. Now, granted, the Ocarina has a similar structure in that it can help me finish the opponent off. But for this to work, you have to be ahead on the board. Whereas this can work even if you're behind. I'm not sure I did a really good job drafting this. This game is incredibly complex, and I've only been playing for a week. Definitely, there were a lot of tough options. I kind of went for a buffing strategy and a high mana strategy, and I don't know how well those are actually going to work. Yes, it is different. Okay, so in the full Pandora experience, you can lose twice, and on your 3rd loss is when it ends. But in practice mode, it ends after 2 losses. So it's a little bit harder, actually, to get to 3 wins in practice mode than it is to get to 3 wins in the full mode, because in the full mode, you can take an extra loss. I don't think the skill is going to be that much higher in this, because who wouldn't play in practice mode, Okay, this is actually not a very good opening hand. I don't want removal up front, or buffing up front, or a 6-mana thing up front. I'd like to get something cheap to put next to a well. And it ain't gonna happen. This is a combat trick for later in the game that requires 3 forests. So yeah, this is a bit unfortunate. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place a forest here. I don't like doing it like this. I prefer to go up and then over. But I want to place this Queen's Guard next to a well on my next turn. And the only way that I could do that if I went here is to play prairies on my next turn. But I definitely want to continue building my advanced creatures, or my advanced lands. Okay, we got a little bit of a break here. I can make a forest there and then put this thing down. It's just a little 1/1 that's going to be harvesting mana every turn until my opponent decides to kill it somehow. And when I draw an event, which will hopefully happen at some point, I will buff this up to be a 2/5. All right. My opponent also has one of these things, right? No, this is a Flower Silk Fairy. What is this? I can't read it. You gain +3/+1 and charge 1. So it's the same as my forest one, only it's more offensive instead of defensive. Okay, that's fine. I think we'll just keep it real simple here. I don't need to play that yet. I don't need to play this yet either. I think what I'm going to do is put a forest here and play this overgrown tower so that it is ready to go. And I don't necessarily need to play this right now. It's not going to do anything right now. And if I end up moving my lands forward and casting this on a later turn, it's just the same as if I had played it now and then spent 1 turn moving it a square each time. Okay, so my opponent is red and yellow. He's passing here. Bold Bargainer. Well, this is interesting. It might hit one of these, in which case it's going to be 7 mana for these 2 cards. So let's think about that. These 2 cards normally would cost 11. Instead, they would cost 7. So, well, I guess I would just be getting a discount of 4 mana, sort of. But the problem is I don't actually want to play either of these cards. These are tricky cards, so I don't really want them. This is the one that I want right now. And I can't play this anyway because I don't have 2 mountains. Okay, well, anyway, then, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and play a mountain here and pass. I'm curious what my opponent will do. He can play 2 prairies and put a land next to the well here, in which case I'm going to have to make a mountain here and summon my Queen's Guard onto the mountain like that. Let's see if he wants to do that. Ah, he's going to use Explore. Oh, I forgot he had that. Well played. Okay, so he is going to place a special land here. And with 11 mana, maybe summon something there? Alright, what is this thing? This is a Wind Gate. You can summon creatures on spaces adjacent to this structure. Yikes. So he's going to kill my structure, unfortunately. And really mess me up. Well, that was some pretty good play from my opponent. I think I'm going to lose this first game. Because he's going to come here and he's going to kill my fairy. Unfortunately, very soon. Oh, okay, there's a firebomb, which is interesting. Okay. So the firebomb, I could attack this brute with it. This is activate, give a creature +1/+1. So this can only be activated 1 time. I could activate this Flower Silk Fairy and just have it fly over and attack this brute. It would be a 3/6. And then this thing, I mean, it wouldn't die. I don't have a way of killing it. So I think what I want to do is probably put a mountain here. Cast my Queen's Guard here to taunt this brute away from killing my structure. And then I'm gonna buff up my guy. You can unfortunately only activate things 1 time. Now I'm gonna firebomb this because if he can, well, I mean, it's a risk. So this thing gets bonus attack whenever he plays an event. So how many events can he play? Probably not that many. I don't really care that much about firebombing this though, because this thing, he can summon creatures next to it, but I don't really care because he can make a land and summon creatures like here anyways. In fact, he can make a land next to me if he wants. I'm gonna firebomb this creature, and then I'm gonna end my turn. So his thing got upgraded as well. So it's now a 4/2 versus my 2/5. So if they fought head to head, I would win, I guess. And yes, he is gonna make a land next to me. So now I'm at a strategic disadvantage because he can summon creatures next to me for the rest of the game. There's a 4/5. That's going to get bonus attack if I can get down to 10 life or less. And he's going to move this Wind Gate, which is clever. He's trying to protect that Wind Gate. This thing is not a big deal. It's just a 3/2. And I got a mana because he attacked me. Is he going to finish this off? Looks like he is. But now my flyer will be able to kill off this 3/2, which is good. And I've got an underground boss here. Okay. So the question is, do I want to cast this Bold Bargainer? Well, it's a 3/4. It doesn't really go that well against a 4/5. But I do have the ability to make it a 4/5, I suppose. Do I want to buff this thing? This thing has flying, but I can't actually attack this 4/5. I could go here and attack this 3/2 and this one, so I don't need to buff it for that. So I suppose the real question is whether I just want to make this Bold Bargainer or not, and I don't think I see much value of getting that 3/4. I'd rather just have this be a 4/6. So that's what it's going to be. We're going to go ahead and attack that. Then I'm going to play the underground boss here. I think if I cast this, it wouldn't actually work. It would on the Flower Silk, it would make it a 1/1. So this thing is just about to die. I could, however, cast this and move my 3/5 there. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put this here. Teleport that over. Make another mountain, and buff this thing before my turn ends. Okay. Yeah, I hope that was not totally terrible. So my opponent is down to 2 cards and 5 mana. He doesn't harvest any mana because this thing is a structure. It doesn't harvest mana. He used his ability to draw an extra card. I might be able to hold off this attack. Drain 2 life from a creature, so he's going to kill my flyer. That is fine. These two creatures will kill my 4/6, unfortunately. But that will also give me 4 extra mana. And that will leave this as just a 4/1. Aha. That's an interesting choice. I'm not sure what that really changes. Because this thing was going to die anyways, and with 2 extra attack, it doesn't kill my guy. So I'm not exactly sure what he's going after here. Okay, so I got 9 mana. I'm going to draw a card. I don't really have anything that's super great here. And we've got an Ogre Dance. So that'd be good to use against the Bold Bargainer. Actually, it doesn't really work, does it? If I use it on the Bold Bargainer, then there's nothing else left to do the Bold Bargainer on. Although I can wait a turn, I suppose. Well, anyway, I suppose here I'm going to play this Voice of Truth on the forest, and I'm going to use it. Actually, wait a minute. I don't think I wanted to do that because that would actually have healed it. So yeah, this way they sort of trade. In fact, I'm going to just do this so I have a 2/6 versus the 5/1 just to make it frustrating for him. This I don't think I want to do. So we're going to go ahead and play a Fire Elemental here. And I'm going to create a mountain there. So my thinking is this way he might feel a little bit threatened about the fact that I could place a land next to him, and he might be forced to put a land there instead of doing something else with his turn. He's down to just 2 cards. He's got 5 mana. If he draws a card or gets mana, he's going to let me put a land here. That was good. That was a good move for him. So now this 5/1 is uncontested right next to my home, and I'm just going to take a beating every single time. Okay, luckily we get treasure, so hopefully this will help me more than it helps him. We got a Dark Crystal. Deal 3 damage to all enemy creatures and draw 2 cards. Well, this is tricky, because if I gain a mana, then I can spend it all to do this, but then I'm not placing a land down. But what if I play the Ogre Dance, right? That's got to be smart. So let's do the Ogre Dance. And it did hit the Dark Crystal. Good. So let's do this right now. I mean, I'm wasting a little bit of the effect, but I want this thing to die. And the thing I like about doing this now is that it actually heals me. It kills off the thing that's threatening me. And on top of that, I can now actually put a land down next to my opponent. And I'm actually going to go up and threaten him. This is a little bit aggressive, admittedly, because he still has a treasure, so he can do some good stuff against me, potentially. But I want to threaten him a little bit. He does just have 3 cards. Gain 2 and deal 2 damage, and he's going to play this, which is a 2/5, so it's not the end of the world, although it does deal 2 damage to me every time it attacks me. And then he used the Scimitar. Oh, shoot, so that kills my thing. Alrighty. Well, so now, just like that, I'm a little bit behind. Okay, let's go ahead and use my treasure. I messed up, actually. I should have probably used the Bold Bargainer first, and then I could have gotten these colossi done. As it is, unfortunately, I now have these things which mess up my bold bargaining skills. Oh, I messed up bad. Yeah, that was a mistake. Shoot. Well, these are actually just not really what I need right now. I need to get some help killing this stuff. Alright, I'm going to play a Bold Bargainer there. And I got lucky. It did hit one of my colossi, so I'm going to go ahead and put the colossus down. Where do I put it? Well, if I put it here, I can maybe start hitting my opponent. But if I put it here, I can actually attack this creature. And it can't really run anywhere, can it? Let me take a look. Yeah, it can't run anywhere. So yeah, I'm going to just put the colossus down there. And then I think my main issue is mana still. It's tempting to put a forest here, though, so I can put creatures next to him. I do get 6 mana every turn, so I'm going to go up to 7. I can play another Bold Bargainer. Yeah, I'm going to put a forest next to him. And see what this does for me. So he does have 6 mana and 2 cards. He's used his treasure. He's going to deal 3 damage to my Colossus. He's going to collect a mana and play another thing. This is not a big deal at all. It's just a 3-1. I don't really care about that too much. And he's going to hit me for 4. 2 for the actual attack and then 2 for this combat ability. All right, we get another treasure, which is nice. I get a Doom Scythe. Very interesting. I have to think quite carefully about what to do with my life here because I cannot play the Feral Kadama and the Doom Scythe. Now, if I play the Feral Kadama right here, that's great if I can actually survive to the next turn. Which, let's see, he'll be hitting me for 4, plus 3 is 7. He only needs 4 more damage to kill me. It's, you know, a risk to let him take me down to being 4 damage away from dying. However, no. Yeah, the thing is that, like, I can kill this Dancing Blade with my Colossus. These two things still threaten me, and then this guy here cannot get over to kill that 3-1. And nothing else. I don't have any other killing things. If I kill this with my Colossus... Well, I guess if I kill this with my Colossus, I could just play the Bold Bargainer here. No, that's a forest. It's not a mountain. Yeah, so I can't actually summon the Bold Bargainer in the way of this Scimitar. Okay. So we're going to play it safe. I'm going to kill this thing. I'm going to collect a mana because that seems to be my limiting reagent. We're going to kill that thing for free. And do I want to play this thing? I don't think I do. We're just going to end the turn. All right, so I've got a nice glut of stuff happening here. He does have 10 mana, which concerns me. And 4 cards, so quite a lot of cards. I'm just trying to, like, glut up here. Oh, my God. So he's draining 4 life from me and killing my key defender here. Now he is down to 2 mana. I'm down to 4 health. I will be able to finish this thing off, but it's a bit scary because if you can just, I mean, there are cards that will just deal 4 damage. All right. Well, there's nothing I can really do about it. So what I'm going to do here is finish this off. I don't think I really care that much about this Wind Gate, so I'm just going to move my Colossus here. So it's just blocking a place where he can summon creatures and threaten his face. We're going to go ahead and hit him. And I will do a Feral Kadama there, so that if he doesn't kill me on the next turn with his 10 mana, then I will be able to attack him and start healing. Yeah, I think there's nothing I can really get in my way, so I guess we'll just... Wait a minute, let me draw a card. I should have drawn a card first, see if I have any kind of healing or anything that I could get. No, okay. So we'll play this, see what random green creature I get. It's a Seed of Paradise. Yeah, that is not a good card, that giving you a random green creature. It looks so cool that you get +6/+6 on it, but I just don't think it's actually that good. So yeah, there's plenty of different cards in the world with 10 mana that will just kill me from here. So let's see if he's got one of them. He's going to gain control of this. Well, that's fine because he can't use it yet. It has Summoning Sickness. And now I hit him and heal for 5. And unfortunately, this only deals damage to creatures or structures. It does not deal damage to faces. So, what can I do? Well, I guess I'm going to have to play a taunt. So we're going to play a taunt there to taunt the Colossus that he stole from me. And let's get an extra mana. Wow, this is a tense game. So if he can kill this and hit me for 7 with this Colossus, then he'll only need to deal 2 damage to me. And he's clearly, that's a good sign that he drew a card pretty fast, so he's clearly hunting for some way to either deal 2 damage after killing this with another one of his cards, or to just kill me somehow. But he couldn't deal 4 damage a turn ago, so maybe he won't be able to do it. This Kadama thing was pretty damn handy. I'd be at 4 health. Then anything that could kill this creature or take away its taunt would have let him kill me with the Colossus that he stole from me. Deal 2 damage to your opponent as a gift? Okay, if he can kill this, then I do lose. Because if he kills this, then this guy just attacks me right in my face. Oh my god, he's trying to attack my face with this. Oh my god, that's a good sign. It looks like he didn't realize I put a taunt next to him. Does he have a way of getting rid of this taunt? The whole game hinges on the balance. Deal 4 damage to a creature or structure. That is not gonna do it, because this thing has 6 health. Oh my god, taunt for the win. Holy shittlesticks, that was an exciting one. Well, that was a pretty crazy first game. I gotta say, that was a tougher game than I've had in practice mode. Maybe, let me think about this logically. And what I'm trying to figure out is there a, like, skill gap between practice mode and the full mode? Everybody's gonna play practice mode, right? Like, even if you're a good Pandora player, why would you not play your free practice run every day? But in Pandora mode, you're gonna have people who play repeatedly. Does that change things? I mean, yeah, because you're gonna have low-skilled players playing in practice mode who aren't playing in full mode. So yes, this should be more difficult, which I guess probably explains why that was a harder game than I'm used to playing. Also, this deck might not be the most properly drafted deck of all time, so that's another thing to consider. Okay, I'm gonna keep the Kingsguard, but this Caretaker's a bit awkward. I'd have to play another creature and then the Caretaker, although it is a good thing to park next to a pool. So yeah, I'm just gonna do it. We'll do it like this. And it's nice that I'm second, so I'll be able to play this on turn 2. Okay, that's gonna be the plan. Got ourselves a red devil here, which isn't particularly useful at the moment. So we're gonna go ahead and start with forests. And I don't see any particular reason to play this Explore right now, so we'll just sit on it. The hand limit in this game is 9, which is kind of interesting. I assume that was very carefully play tested, because obviously you'd think it would just be 10 as kind of a default. My opponent's also playing forests. Pretty weak creature there, the 1/7. I mean, obviously it can be annoying, but it's not that big of a deal. I think what I'm going to do here is keep it real simple. We'll make a forest here. Play the Explore there. Put down a Kingsguard. And then next turn, failing anything else, I can start making mountains and head towards this well. And play a Tiki Caretaker there, so that after the Kingsguard leaves the well, the Caretaker can step up and start harvesting it. Gift, create a mountain. Okay, so he's gonna compete with me for the well. He's playing a similar style of strategy as I am, in that he's just trying to go up and then over to his wells, and he caught up to me on lands because he got a mountain creation to counter my free prairie from Explore. This thing is a bit awkwardly placed. It's a little bit passive, and he spent some mana on it. It's not really doing anything. All right, so I guess the plan here is what? Do I keep going up this way? Or do I go over this way? Well, I don't really want to compete with this thing. So what I'm going to do is make a mountain to start working on my mountains. We're going to go here to try to harvest from his well. And I'm going to play this to buff up my guy, which is a little bit risky, but there aren't that many things that will just outright kill this. This thing is interesting. I think I am just going to drop it right now. The reason that I want to play this as soon as possible is simply that the sooner I play it, the sooner that an event being drawn will activate it and make it into a 2/5 with charge 2. If I wait, each turn that I wait, I risk that I will draw an event before I've played that thing. Interesting choice here. I wonder if he's going to buff it, because I can just kill it and get a card from killing it. Is he going to summon a creature there? No, that was a pretty interesting choice. I don't know if it was a mistake, but I do find that was very interesting that he's giving me a kill. Well, he is getting 2 mana, but he spent 3 mana for it. I don't really understand that move. So anyway, I do have a decent amount of stuff here. I did get an event, so this thing is now online. Unfortunately, it just trades with this. If I run up here, I actually could harvest the mana. Then he can build a land here and trade. The problem with building a land here and trading is that my guy can move in and then build a land there. So I could try to, like, goad him into it, I guess. This I don't have a rush to do right now. So yeah, why don't we do this? Remember, when you harvest mana in this game, it's really, really strong, because that's not just mana that you get for that turn. That's like for the entire rest of the game you have an extra mana. I have, let's see, I need another mountain for sure. So I could actually just make a mountain there, huh? Then I could summon red creatures really close to him. then he'd be forced to make a land there to stop me from getting a mountain or a forest right next to his face. Okay, I think I'm going to go for it. I mean, the question is whether to make a mountain or a forest. I'm going to go for a mountain. And I can actually even make this Bold Bargainer. The problem is with the Bold Bargainer that while it'd be great to hit either of these cards, it would really suck a lot to hit the Earthcraft. Right? It's a random card in your hand. It's not guaranteed to be an expensive card. So I need to play Earthcraft first. Oh, and I guess the card that's drawn from Earthcraft and the card that's drawn from my next turn's draw. Yeah, okay. It's going to be difficult for me to activate this Bold Bargainer. So he chose to make Prairies this turn, which is kind of a small victory because this does mean that he didn't play an advanced land. So that could be significant. He's gonna hit that. I see. So he spent 2 cards killing that, which, you know, it's annoying that he killed it, but it's also not terrible. All right, we got this, which is not super great at the moment, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and get the party going. So I'm gonna play Earthcraft for a forest. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it there, I suppose. And then I'm gonna make an actual forest here. Now, the question is, do I play the Bold Bargainer? Well, I could still hit this Guidance thing, which would kind of suck. Bags of dicks. So what I want to do then is make a Kingsguard there. Well, it's tough. If I make a Kingsguard here, I get the mana, obviously, which is good. But if I make the Kingsguard here, the nice thing about that is I could potentially move it and put a land there. I'm threatening that. However, he does have a 1/7 taunt. Okay, so I'm going to make a Kingsguard there to get the mana. And I'm going to take a little bit of a risk, and I'm going to give it +2/+2, making it harder for him to kill it right now. And I'm getting that card out of my hand, so that if I do ever play the Bold Bargainer, then it's more likely to hit something expensive. Next turn, if all this stuff lives, I will have 3 mana normally, +1/2, that's 5, 1 + 5 is 6. If I take mana, I will be able to make this Bold Bargainer. But I will only do that if the card I draw is expensive. Okay, this is a 5/4, which is pretty close to me. And it's going to potentially get there pretty soon. This thing, oh god, I'm so annoyed about this thing. I really don't like this card. So if I play Bold Bargainer, it might make this free, which is annoying. And I actually messed up a little bit because by putting it on a mountain, I stopped myself from being able to make the Bold Bargainer near him, and both of these are forests. I guess I should have made one of them a mountain, huh? Shoot. I have to get a mana in order to play the Bold Bargainer this turn, which means I cannot make a land. So the Bold Bargainer would be going there. Kind of annoying. All right, it's happening. Let's just see, you know, if I get the presence, then I get it. If not, then, what? Hang on. It says a random card in your hand costs, oh god, did I just mess something up? Did it like not affect this because it's getting cheaper every time? Shoot. That really sucks, because I just sort of wasted this effect. I didn't realize it would work that way, though. I didn't realize that when it does this, if a card is already getting cheaper, that it doesn't work on it. Shoot, that kind of sucks. So I paid 7 mana for a 3/4. Is basically what just happened there. So this is a bit of an, I don't know, I mean, I'm just guessing, but this didn't get cheaper, this didn't get cheaper, this didn't get cheaper. He dealt 5 damage, which is actually fine. I'm okay with that. So he spent 2 cards again to kill my creature, which I'm okay with. That was like 2 cards in his entire turn. Now my Bold Bargainer can come. Oh no, B's just going to kill everything I got. All right. I guess if that's how you want to play. I will have 8 mana to work with. I cannot quite play this Colossus, unfortunately. Alright, gift, create a mountain. Alright, well, let's do this first. Get my mana, get 2 cards. Ooh, I get a treasure. Nice. And I get Dark Crystal. Well, this doesn't quite kill that thing. I don't want to draw any more cards at the moment. So what I'm going to do here, I think, is keep it simple. We're going to go ahead and make a forest here. Play this. And make another forest there. And I'm also gonna make a mountain there. So I'm trying to get my Primeval Colossus really, really cheap and slow down this thing's advance towards my god. It will unfortunately survive with 1 health, but that will make the Dark Crystal work. So I've got this Ogre Dance, which can make something cost 7 less. Again, I'm a little bit scared of playing it, because last time I had one of those effects, it didn't do anything. I don't know if that was a bug, or if it was just because it targeted the Colossus and it didn't work. But the Colossus, I can just summon it now. I mean, I can just summon it right here. Summon 3, 2... Oh, wow. You know, I really dissed that card, and I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad. It's sort of frustrating when I'm behind to have to deal with all these extra yaks. And again, and this does not quite kill the yaks, unfortunately. Alright, so how do we do this? Well, I could play this. Unfortunately, then I don't have the mana to do the Shamanic Dance, even if I take a mana. The minimum cost of this thing is 6. So I can actually make a land and play it. But I don't know what there is to do with my lands. I pretty much have lands everywhere I want them to be already. Ogre Dance could really whiff on this Shamanic thing, or on the Primeval Colossus. This thing is a 6/5. How good is that? Well, not that good. It'll just die to the 5/1, which is pretty weak. Shoot. I don't want to spend 4 mana just to get a stupid creature. I probably should have moved this last time, huh? I have so many cards, but nothing that good. Alright, I guess we have to do this then. I'm just going to make a Primeval Colossus here. Just defensively. I have massive card advantage against my opponent. He's only got 2 cards. He is getting 6 mana every turn, so he can do pretty powerful things every turn now that Pandora's opened, but I can do pretty powerful things as well. And I feel like just having a 7/14 on defense is fine, as long as he doesn't get a treasure that lets him take control of a creature or destroy a creature, which is always a risk. I should be okay. I might even give it taunt and just go all in. Uh-oh, he's getting a treasure. Alright, so I got my own Doom Scythe, which means if he takes control of this, I can kill it. It would take all my mana for the turn, but at least it can be done. If he has Doom Scythe, he would do it now for sure. If he has the 9 mana to take control of a creature, he wouldn't be able to do it yet. Alright, what is this? Whenever this deal attacks a god. Okay. That's fine, I guess. It's sort of in an awkward position. It can't actually attack the god right now. I would have put it... he had to summon it on a mountain. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to move it here and then start shooting at my Primeval Colossus. That seems to be the plan. Okay, well, let's think about my options. I could... See, he's got a 5/4, 5/1. So this card frustratingly does not kill these yaks. It does kill the 5/1. It does kill the ranged creature. This, I don't think there's anything that's worth killing right now. This thing could really badly whiff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give taunt to my Colossus and start murdering some of these yaks. I don't really know what the point of moving this Caretaker is because it doesn't really want to fight a 1/2. Now I'm going to go ahead and play Ogre Dance and see what it hits. It hits my Red Devil, which is nice. So next time I can play this, get essentially 3 extra mana. So I'm going to have 7 plus 3. I'm going to have 10 mana next turn. He does have 3 cards and 6 mana, but I have a taunt right next to my face that has a lot of health on it. The fact that he's running stuff into it means that he probably doesn't have the ability to just kill it outright, which is a good sign. If this thing starts to become a problem, I can kill it with this card. Now that I've lost health, I can drain 4 life, kill this thing off, and this thing, which could be in a nuisance at some point, and unfortunately not those things. And I even get 2 cards. I just have to be careful I don't overdraw. This thing also is an interesting possibility. I could just play it here where it is ready to shoot his face. I would obviously rather do that after this thing has moved away or after I've killed it with this Dark Crystal card. Yeah, this is interesting. This Red Devil, I mean, it hits pretty hard. So he has to be a little bit careful about it. Alright, if your opponent has 10 life, okay, so that's just a 5/5. I'm okay with that. It does not die to Dark Crystal. Unfortunately. I could kill it with a Doom Scythe. Alright. Well, how do we do this? I really hate this card. This card is so bad. It just pains me how bad that is. So, Doomside, I can do this and get a 6/1. It's better to do that, though, after playing the Dark Crystal. If I do this, I'm going to have 10 mana, 11 mana. Dark Crystal plus Doomside is 13, so I need to save some mana if I wanted to do that. Why don't we just keep it simple? Let's kill off this Yak, for starters. And let's play this Colossus here. Let's see what he wants to do about it. I'm going to get a mana because mana is the most important thing. Let's see what he wants to do. He's got only 4 cards, 5. Well, okay, I can't say only. He's got plenty of cards. But this thing is threatening his face. It'll kill him in 3 turns. And then it's also going to kill this ogre. He has a bit of a tactical problem here. He wants this taunt to be next to the Colossus, but he can't move the taunt in here without moving this thing away. So if he moves it down and then moves the taunt in, oh, I guess that's fine. Why didn't he do that? That would have been a perfectly fine move. He could have moved this down, moved the taunt over, and then wasted my Colossus's turn, but instead he just did this, throwing away his creature. Interesting. I guess he really wanted to take a pot shot at my Colossus. Does he have a way of finishing it off? 1 health, maybe. Aha! So he's gonna, oh my god, that was well played. He got 3 of my creatures down to 1 health each and then killed them all and got +2/+2. Well then, that's getting Doom Scythed, clearly. Then I'm gonna play this Red Devil next to him. Get some mana back. And should I put this Kodama down? I mean, it sucks that it's just going to take damage from this flamethrower, but what I could do is I could actually put it on this forest. Right? Yeah, let's put it on that forest. So the idea here is that if I play Dark Crystal, it'll kill this, and then I can jump here and hit his face and heal for another 5. And this thing is ranged, so it cannot attack after moving, so right now it's stuck hitting my face. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Well, now this thing doesn't die to my thing that I was planning to kill it with. Shoot. I could be in a lot of trouble. It also doesn't die to Dark Kodama. Well, it does die to Dark Kodama with the Dark Crystal. Okay. Actually, wait, I can just kill it with the Red Devil, can't I? Unless he plays a taunt or something. I can kill it with the Red Devil, and then the Dark Kodama can jump in and start hitting his face. All right, that is a problem, because now he's taunting both of my creatures. And I'm going to get hit for 5. Okay. So what's this thing? When this creature attacks a god, deal 1 damage, I think, to all creatures. So I don't really want to get hit for 5 is the thing. But there's 2 things taunting my Kodama which could heal me. The Volcanic Colossus cannot block that thing from hitting me. So I can teleport something to a forest, which doesn't really help me avoid the taunting issue. Alright, I think this just has to happen. I just need to do this right now. Well, I have to say I'm a little bit underwhelmed by that card. Alright. Now, this thing is still taunting, so what do I give up to kill it? Well, I think it's gotta be my vanilla guy. Then I can jump up here, hit him in the face, and heal for 5. So now I'm going to win the war if he wants to just, you know, fight me and like race me. He does have 6 mana and 4 cards, which is enough to do a whole lot of bad things. So we'll see. I don't have any more removal, unfortunately. I cannot make a forest there, tragically. All right, he is going to do that. Does he have a way to finish off 3 damage? That's the big question. Maybe the Queen's Guard on this forest would be nice. Okay, so he's going to go ahead and kill off my guy for pretty much his entire turn. It may not be the end of the world, though, because I can... This was a, what, a 3-2? I can actually play this and make it back into a 3-2 if I want, or I can just kill it. That would be like my entire turn, though. If I play this in front of it, am I being too tricky? The problem is, with 6 mana, I can only play 1 of these cards. So yeah, I'm definitely getting a mana. And I think I'm actually going to just do that. So now he's going to have 9 mana and 4 or 5 cards if he wants. Which is scary, because he can do a lot of things with that many cards. But there is, in general, not that much removal in this game. And he's already used a fair bit of it. Plus, if I can just get this attack in for 2 mana, that could make a really big difference. Notice how important mana is? Mana is important. And that is why, like, collecting Faeria from a well on turn 2 can be a really significant thing, because that's like an extra mana that you had that game. Alright, so he's going to play that, which is scary because now these trade, so my guy doesn't survive. And he has a 5/6, it's pretty close to my god. I do get mana, which is good. And I can still make creatures pretty close to him. Alright, so I think I have to go on the defensive a little bit here, though, because he's awfully close to me. Deal 4 damage, that's actually pretty good. So it would actually all completely target him. So this thing becomes a 7/7. Unfortunately, Firebomb cannot target the face. And it is not going to kill either one of these creatures, so I would get hit for... Well, I could get hit for a maximum of 3. This thing is still a turn away. Interesting. One thing I'm noticing, this card is just awful. When do you ever have 4 mana to spare? I mean, even getting a buffed creature is nice, but... And this thing has been kind of underwhelming, too. I mean, I could teleport this back or something. I don't know. Yeah, none of this stuff is that great. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to draw a card. Even though mana is so vital, though. Alright, we're going to summon that thing. Alright, and let's dash right next to him. You know, I could have actually summoned it here, dashed here, and made a land there, which would have been an interesting strategic move, perhaps. I'm going to take a mana. Mana is just still the most important thing. So this thing is going to get 1 extra attack for the card he drew. He can draw another card and give it an extra attack, but this thing is still a turn away from attacking me, so it's nice that he never got lands within 2 spaces of my hub. I am almost able to kill him. I cannot buff or do any kind of damage, unfortunately, to his face to finish him off. But he's got to be afraid of the 7/7 that's knocking on his door. Of course, I got to be afraid of this 5/5 and 3/4 that are knocking at my door, because they will kill me if I don't. Yeah. The first time this creature fights and survives. Okay, I see. So if it attacks a god, you can get a nice bonus out of it. Alright, well, I'm going to first of all draw a card to see if I find a way to either buff this by 2 or just kill him outright. And unfortunately, I get junk. Yeah, my deck is really not working well for me here. I don't have any healing. And I don't have any way of blocking the damage. I don't have any taunts or anything like that. Yeah, this is just sad. So I'm going to hit him. And now I have 9 mana. These cannot be summoned next to me. I can firebomb this, I suppose. And then on that mountain, yeah, I guess I'm going to put this boss on the mountain. So he needs just 2 damage to kill me, either by buffing a creature or just dealing 2 straight damage. He has all the mana in the world, and he has up to 5 cards to find with which to deal that 2 damage. Failing that, if he can kill this creature, he can be in good shape. I like that he drew a card. That means he didn't have the damage to kill me with what he had on hand. And he drew that hammer that he shuffled into his deck earlier, and now wins. That was a frustrating game, but it just shows that I probably messed up drafting. I definitely could have used some healing in that deck, or some more damage, or some more buffing, but I just had a bunch of random crap that wasn't very good. Still, it's going to take some lessons away, so I think the guy that teleports a creature to a forest is really just not that good. The card that adds a random creature to your hand and buffs it a whole lot is just awful, because you never have the mana to spare to play that. I think that this thing that restores a creature to its original attack and life is also just pretty weak. Actually, maybe I missed an opportunity. I don't know. Maybe I missed an opportunity to use it on my Primeval Colossus. I don't remember like when the Colossus died, but perhaps I could have used it on that to return it back to 14 health. But yeah, I just took a lot of cards to kind of experiment that ended up being bad. Okay, so here this is good. I'm going to get to create a mountain early on. In fact, I can do it on turn 1, which is nice. And this thing is something I'm pretty happy just to park near a well. I'm okay with that. So let's make a mountain here. Let's explore there. Make a... Oh, wait a minute. That was probably a mistake. That was I am just really bad. I should have prairied first, then made the mountain, summoned this on the mountain, and then put the mountain here, so I could have actually moved it next to the well next turn. But as it is, it's not going to get to a well, so I'm going to be 1 mana down for the rest of the game, because I'm awesome at this game. Alright, he makes a 3/3 for 3, which is fine. Yeah, I'm just going to be a mana down for the rest of the game. No other way around it. I'm going to go ahead and make this land bridge over. Start getting some forests. Oh, man. The draft. I think this is in this game, I don't know if my tactics were off. Well, they were off just now. But I don't think my tactics have been off in general. But the draft, I think I just experimented a little bit too much and ended up suffering for it. Okay, this doesn't work because I got the shamanic dance. So I have two major options. I can either just play a Kingsguard and just call it a day, or I can play this and try to set up for the Ogre Dance in the future. Well, I think I'd rather go for the Kingsguard route because that will start giving me more mana. Oh, I can actually play this now. All right, yeah, let's go for it. It's a bit premature. He might be able to Frogify it or something. He is blue. But let's just get it out of my hand, so if I draw an expensive card next turn, I can Ogre Dance and start getting some value out of it. Interesting that he made 2 prairies. I'm not sure exactly what he's going for there. I think, unless he's going to summon something here, I think it would have been better for him to just make a specialized land. Aha! So he's a 6/5, which rather trumps my 3/6, and I definitely regret having used this thing, that buffing card, on this thing that's over here and not actually messing with anybody. Okay, what I'm going to do here is play a little bit passively. I'm going to put a mountain back here and just move my taunt guy back. You know, I could have moved it up and killed his 3/3, but then his 6/5 would have just killed it. So let's just wait and see if I find an answer. I'm going to cast Ogre Dance here. Unfortunately, didn't quite hit my best card, but next turn I do get to make this thing after playing a forest. And, you know, it might hurt this enough. I guess I would have to hit it twice, which is not that likely. But it might hurt it enough, or buff this enough, or buff this enough that I can actually make this trade. So that's the hope. All right, I'm going to have to pause the video here. All right, folks, sorry about that cut. Let's continue on with the plan here. I'm going to make a forest. Summon... Oh, interesting. I could actually use this to summon this away. Wait a minute. Is that actually a good move? I could do this and then have these two things trade instead of playing this, which might not actually work. You know what? I think that's what I got to do. Yep. So we're going to summon this over here. It's not even that good, really. Wait a minute. This thing is free. Oh, hey, so I should play this. Maybe it'll buff this thing one time. And then I can actually survive. I don't want to dash. Wow, this actually worked. I didn't even need that. That actually worked out really well. I'm going to actually move this aside and then go up and do it like this. And get a card that way. Hey, cool. I even get to do this thing. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make a mountain. There, and end the turn. Okay, that was a really lucky hit with this beast. Buffing this thing enough to kill his guy, and I get an extra card because it ended up being in 2 combats, and now I have a 6/7. He's got no creatures on the board. He's a ton of cards, though. That thing is... He, I think, might have misdrafted. I mean, again, I'm not an expert, so I can't say these things with certitude. But it does seem like he has some very low-impact cards. I'm going to collect some Faeria here. And I think I'm just going to keep snaking my way over. Let's go ahead and put a forest here. I think this thing is actually fine where it is, just collecting Faeria. I'm okay with that. And I guess now I'm going to cast this stupid Presence. Alright, I got an Ancient Beastmaster. So it's the 3/4, only now it's a 9/10. Well, I guess since I was ahead, it ended up being okay that I had this. Do I want to play this here? No, I'd rather like make a forest near me and then play this thing, and I'm not in a rush to do it. Although, if I start buffing things now, that could be good. Like, if I buff this twice, it can actually survive against the 3/2. Yeah, let's do it. So let's just do it right now. Make it a 7-3, and then I can make it an 8-4 and survive against the 3-2 next time. All right, he's got 6 mana. He could drop something pretty big here, but my 7-3 should be able to take it out, or my 4-4, depending on where he drops it. So he's going to get a 5-5. And a 1-1 that turns into a bigger flyer. Okay. So I kind of wasted the activation of this. But I think that's fine. So I'm going to move here. Make a mountain near him. Let's go ahead and trade this off. Actually, wait, this Beastmaster is huge. I should have probably made that a forest, huh? Yeah, that would have been smarter. This thing's about to die. I can't save it. So let's go ahead and make the guy that's close to my opponent a little bit buffed. And yeah, I don't need to play that right now, so I'm just going to play it next turn. Maybe we'll make a forest in there. No, is that a forest? I can't actually tell. I think it is a forest. So I'm going to move this guy in, kill his flyer if it hasn't grown yet, or I guess if he can run away with it, but I can hit him in the face, and then we'll just summon this Beastmaster, this 9/10, next to his face on this forest that I have. But moving this guy onto the forest was kind of a problem, because it stopped me from summoning next to the forest. Alright, this thing is a 4-3, which is a trade with my 4-4. That's okay, I suppose. So yeah, why don't we just go kill this flyer before it becomes a problem. I'm actually fine trading. I'm ahead of him on mana. I'm ahead of him on cards. It's really not that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and make a 9/10 next to his face. I still don't think that card is good because it's only good since I am ahead. I'm going to play a Bold Bargainer here, which should make one of those cards cost 0. Yep, okay. Let's make another one there. Oh yeah, it worked that time, even though this was a cost-reducing card. Did I just, like, misunderstand a card or something last time? I'm not sure. I'm not really making use of the ranged ability there. But this is I dare say, a rout. We haven't even opened up Pandora. He's still only getting 3 mana per turn. He's not harvesting any mana. I've got a bajillion creatures on the table and all this stuff in his face. Unless there's some card I don't know about that's just, like, really crazy. He is in a lot of trouble. Okay, so he spent his entire mana downgrading it from a 9/10 to a 5/5, and then killing his creature to not kill this. Unluckily for him, Pandora opens on my turn, which means I get the first crack at the treasure. And another treasure. Nice. Doom Scythe with nothing to Doom Scythe. That's amusing. Let's go ahead and just kind of snake our way in here. Let's put a Colossus there that is ranged, so it'll be able to attack him. Yeah. There is one card that costs, I think, 9 Faeria. I think it's a treasure. It's like set your Faeria to 0 and destroy every creature or something like that. So he could do that, I guess. But no, he's just dead. Okay. So that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe if you did. So we got a nice 2-in-1 record here to kick off this Pandora run. And I'll be back soon to finish this thing off. Take care, everybody.